Hey, it's Griffin Burns. You may know me as the voice of Tartaglia in Genshin Impact, Doppio in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, and Akira in Devilman Crybaby, and you're listening to Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast.
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mikhail Kasanova, and I've got the honor and privilege of having the one, the only Griffin Burns back on the show. Griffin, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks, Mikhail, for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
Oh man, it's awesome having you back on, man, and it's amazing too, because like in this whole journey of, podcasting and doing interviews and finding my voice, the one thing that's really amazing is that you were the first voice actor I've ever had on my podcast.
Really?
Yes.
I am honored. I am honored. Thank you. I didn't know that. I thought you had interviewed a bunch of voice actors prior to me.
No. You were the first one. Prior to that, I've mainly been doing interviews with the video game industry and other content creators. But you were the first voice actor, and it's been what, 2 years? A little over 2 years now.
It's been a minute. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for being #1.
dude, like honestly, like that it's gone down like an amazing route that I never thought it would. Like gotten to interview a lot of people, from Richard Epcar to David Hayter and more. So man,
that's awesome.
You started the trend, brother. So I'm very grateful.
Hey, you're welcome. I appreciate it.
So man, let's catch up, man. What's new? How you been lately?
I've been doing well. I just got back, and I'm afraid to admit this, but I was in Hawaii for a couple weeks.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, it was beautiful. I just, COVID and everything. We were really safe about, wearing masks the entire flight and all that stuff. But yeah, I just got back a couple days ago. We were in, my girlfriend and I were in Kauai, just trying to take a break from, everything going on, but we still brought a vocal booth with us, a travel booth. So we ended up being a kind of a business trip, because we were doing a lot of sessions from our little townhouse in Princeville.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was relaxing, but there was also a work element to it, which was it was good for me. I love to work, so if I have to set out a couple hours or a few hours a day to do some records, that's fine with me.
How many days did you have to do recording on your vacation?
Between so my girlfriend's a voice actress. Between the two of us, we probably had 15 or 16 sessions. I probably had 7 the first week we were there, and then mine started to trail off the second week, because we were there over Thanksgiving, and things kind of shut down for that. Yeah. But then her work picked up like the following week, and so kind of worked out where I was busy the first week, and then the second week she had the booth. So, but like I said, we still got to the beach. We did tubing and ATVs, and there was nobody there. Because not many, we were the stupid people the stupid tourists traveling at this time. So, no, but, the tours were light. So it was everything was kind of one-on-one, which was amazing.
Awesome.
But you're in Hawaii. You're in Honolulu, right?
Yeah, dude. I'm right next to Diamond Head Crater, and I'm 2 minutes away from Waikiki. So
that's
I was
awesome.
Gonna say, dude, if you ever came to Honolulu, man, I could take you to the hiking trails. So we've got Diamond Head Crater. We've got what's the other one? The one that what the name of it is? Oh, Cocoa Head. So
Cocoa
literally,
Head?
Cocoa Head. Do you like to do hiking?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I took there's two people I took last time they were out here. So Ruben Langdon and Mark Whidden. So two of my friends that came out, and
Yeah.
when I took them to Cocoa Head, and literally it goes straight, then it turns, and then it goes straight vertical.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
So, but if you get to the top, and it can take you anywhere from like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if it's not, well, I don't think it's too crowded right now. So like if it's like super crowded, about 2 hours. But when you get to the top, it's the most beautiful like, vista you'll see. Like you see the entire island, you can see everything, and it's just insane.
Is it kind of in between the downtown and because we had a little layover in Honolulu, and all we could see of the island was from the airport. But my girlfriend pointed out a mountain peak from the airport that she was saying was a great hike. I wonder if it's that one. It's kind of outside of that city, the downtown area.
Oh, that's Diamond Head.
That's Diamond Head. Okay.
That's literally right next door to my house.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, if I'm ever there for more than an hour and a half, I would love to take you up on that.
Dude, definitely.
Go on a hike.
Yeah, you definitely love it. Plus, too, all the food places that are like right next to my house. So there's oh my god, depending on what you like to eat, it's all within like a 2-minute vicinity. So
that's awesome.
Like udon, or if you like, ramen, if you like Latinx food, or if you like literally everything is right here. So
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. It's kind of like LA too, where you got everything at your fingertips. So we're spoiled.
Yeah. so yeah, man, like you got to come out here, you got to travel,
yes.
Enjoy the vacation. How was the beach?
My gosh. The water is so warm right now. I don't know if it's always warm in Hawaii, but the water was like bath water. So sometimes I was colder getting out of the ocean than I was when I was in it. So, I guess that makes sense, but it felt colder outside than the temperature of the water. But yeah, it was great. And I tried to pick up surfing again, which I had done maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I had a big scare here in LA where I got, tumbled about by some waves. So I kind of dropped it, but then it looked fairly tame in Hawaii and the water was warm. I was like, I'm just going to rent a surfboard. So I did that and I caught some waves, rode some waves. It was fun. But it also reminds me that I'm getting older because I totally pulled my back the last time I got up. I was like, oh my God, how? Do I need to stretch before I surf? I guess you do, or I guess I do. So,
dude, that's crazy. Like, I was actually talking to my wife about that earlier, about feeling like you don't realize it. Like when you start to hit your 30s, like your body just operates so differently.
It does
than it did when you're 20s. So like we went swimming the other day, and coming out of like an hour or so swimming, I pulled my back too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
I know, it's infuriating.
And it's like the slightest thing. You'll pull your back, or you get like a micro injury. And I was like, man.
Yeah, this just puts a damper on the day. Fair warning, 20-somethings.
For real. Like
stretch.
and don't be in a rush to grow up too quickly.
Exactly. I know.
Can't
believe how fast time flies. It's ridiculous.
Seriously. But dude, so you've been doing a lot of new projects lately. You've been featuring a lot of different things. So let's walk through it, man. A lot of different things you've been working on. I know you've been in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
You did Valkyria Chronicles 4, which actually you did that after our last interview. I think you've done like Agretsuko, you've been in Marvel's Avengers, you've done Demon Souls, you're in Genshin Impact, which is
that was a big one.
Dude, I'm shocked. So I was one of the beta testers for Genshin Impact.
Oh, cool.
I remember playing it months ago, and I was like, man, I really like this. I don't know if it's gonna blow up, and it's like one of the biggest things in gaming.
Okay, so It is. And I'm just going to I'll share this because this just happened. So one of the voice actresses in Genshin, Karina, I'm going to mess up her last name, Botger. She reached out to me. We're going to do some sort of signing, I think in January for Genshin. And she was like, by the way, you really need to get on TikTok. And I've been told this for the last like year, and I'm like, I'm too old. No, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of beyond me. But I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And so I get on there on Sunday, this past Sunday, and I made my intro post, and then I reached out to Karina and said, hey, I'm on here. If you want to give me a shout out, because she had offered. I should preface, I'd made an account like a year ago and had 5 followers, right? Five. There's my hand. Okay. I reactivated the account with those 5 followers. And then overnight, I woke up to 22,000. Wow. And then the next day it jumped to 40,000. And it's because of Genshin Impact. I did one short video where I said one line of my character Childe or Tartaglia, and that thing blew up to like 450,000 views. So yes, that game is wildly popular. And thank you so much, everybody out there who's followed me on TikTok, because it blows my mind. You're encouraging me to make more content. Anyway.
Well, the thing with like TikTok is so crazy. It's like, I remember Gary V or Gary Vaynerchuk kept saying for like the last year and a half, he's like, you got to get on TikTok. Like, you got to get on TikTok. And I'm the same mindset as you. Like, man, I feel like I'm too old for it, because it seems like it's just, the young folks just doing dances and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's like teenagers, 14, 15-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I created an account, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do dances and all that. And then like, a lot of people like that just stuck with it. They're like, man, I've got 20, 30 something thousand, 10,000 followers on here. And I'm like, yeah, did you do dancing? They're like, no, I just posted regular stuff on there. And I'm like,
yeah. You can do anything. There are people showing you how to invest, how to clean a house, how to make a bed. I mean, anything. Yeah. And then goofy stuff and impersonations and dances and there's literally an avenue for anyone, which I'm coming to realize. And that's pretty cool. Although it's addictive. So it makes you want to check your phone like every 5 minutes. And I don't love that about that, because I feel like because of this pandemic, a lot of us are on social media way too much. Yeah. I am very guilty of it. I am glued to my iPhone or my computer.
Trust me, I'm the same.
Yeah. So, but it makes sense for the time we're in right now. I mean, we're kind of stuck at home, and it's a good way to connect with people. So there's so many benefits about it, but I do feel like, oh gosh, I cannot stop checking my pocket for my phone.
Do you ever feel like all the different social media outlets, from managing Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, well, not Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, do you ever feel like it's overwhelming and you have this need to just detach because it's too much?
To detach? Yeah, I would say I feel sort of getting to that point right now, because this year is the first year I've taken social media seriously. I learned kind of late. I've been doing voiceover and acting for the past 11 years, but I didn't really start advertising it or sharing it until like, I don't know, within the last couple of years. And I didn't really take it seriously until this year. And I'm seeing that there's such a fan base out there and people want to interact with the voice actors. So I am now more active on Twitter. I'm more active on Instagram. And like I said, I just got the TikTok. And so, yes, right now I'm feeling, gosh, like I keep cycling through each one and making sure there's updates and checking sort of progress, whatever that means. But it can be a little much. And so I do feel like maybe I should just give it a rest for a few days or not feel the need to constantly post. But I definitely don't post as much as like some people. I know that for sure. I think some people it's like 3 times a day or whatever. I can't do that.
But I know I was talking to my friend Mark Whitten, and he was saying that, like, he's done voiceover roughly the same amount of time as you. And, he did Seteth and Fire Emblem Three Houses. And he said from that, his social media just blew up across the board. And he was saying, like, I'm not really a social media person. Yeah. And he was just saying, like, it can get really overwhelming with, like, it's just constant, like, being like, your notifications are just constantly going off. And
totally.
I can, like, I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah. You got to turn off your notifications, but still, when you do that, you'll be like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen when I open the app. But also it's a challenge in that you have to find your voice on those platforms. And, a lot of times I think for me, I feel this need to sort of cater to what I think is going to be liked and accepted. And it's like, that's not really the best approach. You got to find like the things that you find are funny or the things that you find are interesting. And so I think that's been sort of a discovery point for me. Like, for instance, I found out that I love Photoshop, and I've been memeing the hell out of myself. I don't know if you've seen any,
I've seen it.
but I love to do that. So I find like photo, like we were in Hawaii. Here, I'll pull up the image because I do really like this one.
The one with you by the car, yeah.
Well,
I've seen that one.
that was funny, but oh shit. Okay, so this hopefully you guys can see it. This is me in I'm in Hawaii here, and there's a sign, and it says "Slow Watch for Children," and I was like, oh, this is such a prime opportunity. I'm gonna make it "Slow Watch for Child." So I did a little edit there, and then a little. I don't know if you can tell, but I edited my face. That to me is just like, that's so much fun, and I love doing it. It's goofy, and people seem to respond to it. So that is that's more my voice in that.
Yeah.
But they're not all that way.
Nah, man, it's good. It's good when you can have some hobbies and be able to share things you like, and you have to have something outside of your work, because what I've come to with all my friends are voice actors, from you and many others. What I've seen with a lot of the fans, a lot of times they think like you're that character. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy because with one of my best friends is Ruben Langdon, who does Dante from Devil May Cry, and I literally was talking to him a couple of days ago, and he's like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm Dante. They think I go around and I'm this character, and he's like, I have a whole different set of things I'm interested in. He's like, they'll deep dive into the lore of the characters, and he's like, that's cool. I love it. I love passionate fans, but he's like, I do have a life outside of that.
Totally. And you're reminding me of something. I voiced Yamagi Gilmerton in a Gundam series, and apparently I guess it's I guess he's a gay character, and I think the show creators disclosed that or something. And somebody wrote me, this was years ago, and was like, what is it like to voice a gay character? No disrespect. And I was like, none taken. It's that, first off, that's super cool. Yeah. And I am not the character. So there's, there was like, I don't know how to articulate it, but it was almost like they were afraid that, like, I don't know, that, I might take it personally or something. I'm like, I'm very detached from this character. But to your point.
No, and it's really amazing that fans are as passionate as they are.
Yeah,
you just gotta understand, guys. Like, voice actors, it's a job. It's like voice actors love their jobs, but they do have lives outside of it. Like not every little minute detail you guys gotta know about your character.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, for sure.
So,
but
definitely.
But I do appreciate the fans who are aware of all those little details, and it always impresses me. It's very cool.
So with your work on Genshin Impact, like, did you ever think that was gonna blow up as big as it did?
I had no expectations, no idea. I was told during the recording process. So this was a very COVID production. Like I started recording this. I booked this like probably right prior to the shutdown, and we started recording like during the thick of things. And every session was from home. I don't know if I'll turn my booth is within. It's set up inside of a closet. So that's a full booth that's been put inside of a walk-in closet. And every session, almost 99% of my sessions have been out of that booth this summer and fall and spring. Wow. So anyway, recording Genshin's all in there. And the guys would tell me, the director, Chris, would be like, this is going to be, might be recording on this for 5 years. And I'm like, what? Really? And I didn't know that my character was going to be so big. But they kept having me back, and, it'd be like 2 weeks go by and another session, and then a couple weeks go by and another session. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of material. This world must be massive. And so I knew it was going to be a big game as far as like scale, but I didn't know that it was going to translate to so many fans and skyrocket to #1. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how that turned out. That's great.
Yeah, man. Like it's I'm not sure if you got the opportunity to play it, but like it's one of the, you would think for a game that's like free to play, because most free to play games usually have some type of gotcha type of element, which this does too. But what separates Genshin Impact from like a lot of other free games is you have a full game that you can just enjoy. Like if you want to spend money, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Like you could literally just unlock everything from playing it, and it's wild. Like I've never seen a game that's free to play with that type of model, because everything else is like you can play it at this point now. 5 easy payments of $9.99.
Now cough it up before you can play the rest of the game. Yeah, I've read about that. I do have the game. I've played for maybe an hour. It looks beautiful. I am shocked that you can play it on a phone. That's insane to me.
Dude, it's crazy. You can go from one account, you can play on your phone to your computer to your PlayStation. Yeah. I've never seen a game like that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, yeah, it's really neat. I mean, I know in the beginning it was getting some flack for being too much like Breath of the Wild, but I think the people are now saying that it's not really that similar, and it's got a lot of unique elements. So
yeah, I know a lot of people kept comparing it, and I'm like, visually, it looks way more anime than.
I was gonna say that's what I thought.
Yeah.
If you took Breath of the Wild and made it anime, maybe. Yeah. Then it's similar.
Yeah, but like visually, I'm like, it's stunning. I never really saw, the only Breath of the Wild thing that I saw was just like the climbing and the stamina gauge. But like other than that, I'm like, how many games do that? Like there's a lot of games that have those same type of mechanics. But I think, and I was actually talking to one of a developer yesterday. I did an interview with them, and they were saying how like a lot of people, they just throw out like, oh, this is like this is a Breath of the Wild clone, or this is like this, just because it's like, I guess the sense of tangibility is easier to just say, oh, this is like this versus
Yeah.
just describing it as
Yeah.
its own. But I would not say in any way like Breath of
Yeah.
the Wild and Genshin Impact, they're so wildly different.
It reminds me of music when if you're in a band or something and people are like, what's your music like? It's like you feel obligated. You know, it's very hard sometimes to be like, well, we're a little portion of Weezer and a little bit of this and that. You know, and then the end result, is it really like any of those? Probably not. But you're trying to give people sort of a taste of what it's like.
Yeah.
But you know, how accurate is that? I don't know.
True. So speaking of music, man, like I want to know how's your band New Girlfriend going?
It's definitely on a hiatus. We were really getting started last year, playing quite a few shows, and then because of, you know, the pandemic and everything, it's we're not playing shows. Yeah, we've written some stuff, and we're recording some stuff, but that's on the back burner right now. And to be fair, and I've been very fortunate in this way because of everything going on, my voiceover work has increased dramatically because that seems to be what's available in the entertainment world to produce, because you can have your animators, your editors, your voice actors, everybody can work remotely on projects like that. So I've been super busy, and yeah, so the music it's still something that I want to do, and I'm sure we will get back to. But without the live element and, you know, getting to rehearse at a rehearsal studio and playing around town, it's just, you know, it's tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was wondering, like, how are you like before, like, the, you know, COVID and everything, like, how are you managing doing all of that, like between voice acting and recording and doing, you know, live gigs and sessions like that? Your time has to be incredibly crunched when you're doing all that.
It can be, yeah. I'll give you an example. Last summer, I had a really exciting opportunity where I was doing voiceover for a major tech company that everybody knows, and I was relocated up to the Bay Area for 3 months, a little over 3 months, and so I was working Monday through Friday doing voiceover sessions for this tech company. But this was like during the kind of prime time of our music. We had a lot of shows lined up. And so I was flying home every Friday night almost, or Friday late afternoon from the Bay to LA. We'd have rehearsal either that night or the next morning, Saturday morning. And then we might have a show in the evening. So that was the most chaotic probably time for doing voice acting and music, but we did it and it worked out. And I think I took 13 flights home that summer, but we did our shows and they turned out great.
Oh my goodness.
I flew home 13 times. Yeah.
Goodness.
Tax write-off. Yeah. But then it got more manageable after that summer, because I was here, and one of the beautiful things about voice acting is, like, you do really leverage your time. And at this point in my career, I'm working enough that it's like, you know, you'll have an hour session here, and maybe a few hours later have an hour session. You know, sometimes you have 4-hour sessions. Those are the longest sessions you'll ever have. But like, you probably aren't going to do more than 2 to 3 sessions in a day, because your instrument will wear out. Yeah. So there is time to, say, you know, write music in between or work in the evening. But I'd say putting like rehearsals on the weekend was best, because it can be demanding. I sing, so it's like it can be very demanding on your voice, and that's not good to pair up with a video game session. True. They're like, why do you sound 10 years older? Sorry, I was singing. for hours.
Oh man, what are some methods that you use to like do voice preservation?
I don't do a lot of crazy things. My morning routine is I drink tea and I hum. They say humming, it helps loosen up your vocal cords. And that's pretty much it. You know, I'll run some little stupid little scales, you know. But if I have a 9 a.m. session or something earlier, I just make sure I get up at least 2 hours before it to give my voice time to warm up. And also, you know, if you're really feeling like you wore the instrument out, you just go on vocal rest that evening. You don't talk too much. Don't get on Fortnite with your buddies and scream, which I'm guilty of. You know, I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't be playing. Oh, watch out! You know. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? I can work tomorrow.
Oh man. So winding down to the last couple of questions. So, you know, being respectful of your time. I know you got a busy day planned, but dude. So, what do you have in the works that you're allowed to share? I understand the whole NDA thing, so I don't want to step over that. But if there's anything you're working on that you want to share,
allowed to share, that's so tough because I can't share anything. I will tell you guys, and I can't disclose anything, but I am a lead in a big game that I've been working on a lot lately. I think we've done 8 or 9 sessions. We're going to do our 10th next week, and that game will come out next year, I believe. I'm super excited to share that one. Yeah,
we'll make sure to have you back on there.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a pretty big title. But let's see what else. What can I share? I don't know. We didn't talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's already out there and done. But that was super fun. I can talk about that.
Yeah, dude. How's that? Like joining that show?
That was so interesting to me because, you know, it was done through Bang Zoom, which is the studio I do pretty much all my anime jobs through, and it was so low key. Like I think I got this audition, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't familiar with the series at all, and so it's like this is an interesting looking dude. He's holding an ice cream cone, and I'm like, what is this? I don't know. And I was like, oh, they gave me video clips, and I was like, oh, he does the phone ringing thing a lot. I'm like, that seems like it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah.
And I just remember the hardest part of that audition was like, okay, how is the Japanese voice actor making that ringing sound? And so I had to practice. I had to practice that a bunch. But then I got it, and then I learned, like, oh my gosh, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is huge. Like the fandom is crazy, and my character is such a weirdo. He's a lovable but kind of crazy guy, and
dude, that's an understatement for the JoJo series.
Yeah, I know.
Every one of that is weird.
I know. yeah, I'm learning. But that was super cool. Like that was one of those things where you're like, I have no idea what this really is, and then oh my gosh, this is a wild show, and there's a lot of people into this. So I've had so much fun with that. I bought a little frog on Amazon for my cameos. I got a fake ice cream cone. I was about to buy a Fisher Price phone. Because it's fun. And he's what started my Photoshop craze.
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, I'm sorry, I can't think of anything that I'm allowed to talk about, because if it isn't out yet, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I will say this has been the year of video games, and I'm going to be able to announce 8 games next year. So maybe we can reconvene and talk sometime next year, and I can finally share them. They'll be old news at that point, but
dude, definitely. We'll definitely have you back on the show. And right. Yeah, man, other than that, is there anything you want to leave the audience with before we go? Anything?
Gosh. I don't know. Say hello. Find me on, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. I try to respond to as many people as I can. And I don't have much on YouTube, but I do. If anybody's interested in getting into voice acting, I have a video on there of the three sort of major steps I took to get into voice acting. And yeah, I don't know. Have a great year, rest of the year, everybody. I'm hoping for a better 2021 for everyone, for everyone's sake. So that's pretty much it. Thanks so much, Mikkel.
Yeah, man, definitely. And I'll leave links to your social media outlets. They'll be
cool.
down in the description below for the podcast. Cool. This will be available. This episode of the podcast, along with many others, will be available on multiple outlets. You'll be able to catch it in video format on youtube.com/Mikkel Kasanova and on twitch.tv/Mikkel Kasanova. And on audio format, we are on every podcasting outlet. So we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Pandora. And we just recently got invited by Amazon to be on Amazon Music for our podcast.
Hey!
So, yes.
Nice. That's awesome.
I officially went full-time with this a year ago.
That's
so
amazing.
It's scary, dude. I left my job in IT and just
I'm
doing this full-time now. So like every week I'm doing 7 to 8 podcasts. It's crazy.
Dude, congrats. it's a leap, but you know what happens when you make that leap? You rise to the occasion. That's what I believe in. And anybody out there who's like, wants to do freelance or voice act or anything, at some point, just take the leap. And I truly believe that if you're passionate about it, you'll make it work. So I remember I used to valet. I worked for 2 valet companies. I quit those jobs and my work started to increase. I know that, it doesn't always happen, but I feel strongly that if you're confident and you go for it, you'll make it work.
Definitely.
That's my pep talk. That's my pep talk.
All right, man. And with that being said, we're closing out the podcast. Cool. Griffin, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's such an honor to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
The first voice actor that kicked off this career, man. I definitely want to thank you for giving me that opportunity. Thank you for being a great friend. Next time you're in Hawaii, likewise. If you come to Honolulu, dude, we got to definitely take you to Leonard's Bakery. I don't know if anyone told you about that. Dude, it's like the best pastries ever. And then if you're looking for like, okay, so if you come to Honolulu, you want the best breakfast, there's this place, it's down the street from me. It's in Kapahulu called Sweet Ease. Okay. Like literally Sweet Ease. It's the absolute best breakfast.
Oh man.
Dude,
I love a good breakfast. So I told you I made waffles this morning, so I like good breakfast.
And if you like udon, we've got the best udon spot. Marugame is so good. Oh man, and I'm into it. It's like you get this massive bowl of udon. You can have any type of variation. I like the curry udon, and it's like literally $7 for a massive bowl.
You can't beat that. I mean, that's a great price, and I like to be full. I do not like to spend a lot of food and not feel full. That really pisses me off.
All right, man. So you have a good rest of your day, and then
you too.
Yeah, people. This is me and Griffin Burns. We're signing out. Y'all have a great one.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope it was informative, engaging, and you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure you go ahead and leave a rating and a review. It greatly helps out the podcast and helps the platforms that we're on go ahead and promote us more so that more people can check it out. And if you're wondering what all platforms we're on, aside from what you've listened to it on, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. And if you want to support the podcast, then we've got Patreon, so patreon.com/Mikkel Kasanova. which allows us to continue doing what we're doing. If you're looking for this in video format, we're also available on twitch.tv/MikhailCasanova as well as youtube.com/MikhailCasanova. So with all that being said, I'll catch you on the next episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast and the #1 podcast in the Pacific, the Kasanova Podcast. You have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.